Time to head out to the BetQL guest hotline. Time to welcome in Ted Leonsis, founder and CEO of Monumental Sports and Entertainment. He should be joining us shortly if he's not yet. I believe he's here. Ted, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Ted.
When does Ted wake up every morning?
I'm up at 5:30.
Oh, my God.
That's sleeping in, does.
I wish I could get up at 5:30.
So, does that mean you go to bed early, or are you one of those guys that doesn't need that much sleep?
No, I went to bed about 10:30 last night.
All right, so that's not bad. What is that? I can't do that math. Is that 7 hours?
7 solid
Seven,
hours.
seven's good.
Yeah.
Seven's real good, for sure.
So
You know what? You guys have the best thing. You have the best job. I've been listening to you. You're just sitting around making stuff up, talking. It's fantastic.
What have we made up?
Let's see, score 4 points, 6-1.
Oh,
Anyone
Koulibaly?
6-1 ever score
Yeah.
average 4 points a game, been a first round pick. I don't know. First base.
Would you take Bronny? Are you interested in Bronny, Ted, as an owner?
No. We'd be interested in Bronny if the scouts and the folks said he'd be a big part of our team on the go for, but not under the assumption that LeBron would come and play for your team for a couple of years.
Right.
That would be off strategy.
Right. So you wouldn't. So like that would be kind of like a redo of the Jordan thing. I mean, it never really worked out, but it was
similar.
But it was fun. It brought a buzz to the city for a couple years. You wouldn't be interested in that quarter, like sugar high.
Now, no.
No. Yeah. All right.
Nope. So in fact, we should talk about what's really hot right now, which is women's basketball.
All right.
Power of women. We have our opening night tonight, sold out, playing at ESA. 5 to 7 is a little street festival on Sycamore outside. And we're playing New York. They have a great team. They're one of the powerhouses that contend for a title. We're in a little bit of a transition. But I really like our team. Very, very aggressive. Good coach who's really going to work them to play a tempo game. And so it's an exciting time for the WNBA. And we'll make news on your station and with you right now. As you know, on June 7th, Indiana is coming to town, and Caitlin Clark, and we moved the game from ESA to Capital One Arena.
Right.
And tickets went really, really fast. There are some available downstairs, the VIP area. We just opened those up. But that's going to be very, very exciting. Big TV interest. And, it'll be probably our first total sellout of a game, a WNBA game at Capital One.
Very good.
Because of the Olympic year and the compressed scheduling, we have a game on June 6th against the Chicago Sky. They drafted Angel Reese, who has a very, very high profile as well. And we're announcing on your show that we're going to move that game to Capital One Arena as well.
Nice.
So we'll have, first time ever, back-to-back WNBA games, high levels of interest, both in downtown D.C. at Capital One. We'll release the news and the tickets later today for that event. But that's really a big deal for the league and for us to have back-to-back games at 20,000-seat arena. I think it's going to be really cool.
Ted, was there any pushback from Mystics fans about not picking Angel Reese, who was available to you in the WNBA draft?
Yeah, the passionate people, would say she's from Baltimore and she had a great college career, but I really believe in our general manager, Mike Tebow, and staff and general managers, within the team that's been scouting. And, Connecticut has a great program, and they felt that with the lineup that we have and the players that we have, we needed to be additive, not have a player that plays a similar position. So, yeah, I think we've done the right thing. But time will tell. It's the draft, right? They're young players. You don't know what kind of effect they'll have on the team and the league and how long it'll take. But I have a lot of faith in Mike Tebow and his group.
So you guys drafted Aaliyah Edwards, number 6 overall out of UConn. Obviously, great coaching there under Gino. She averaged about 18 a game and 9 boards. How is she a projected starter on your depth chart? How did she look in preseason?
She'll probably be playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And she has some unique skills. If you've watched in preseason, if you've watched her in a college career,
Oh yeah, she's good.
she can shoot the ball.
Mhm.
She passes very, very well, but she's very aggressive and does all of the little things well. And you have to build a winning team. Our team has been very, very successful, and the Caitlin Clark interest is spectacular and presents well on TV. And she's going to a team that picked first. So, she'll have to help uplift Indiana. We had someone similar like that on our lineup for a long, long time, and Elena Deladon.
Yeah.
Elena was a incredibly gifted athlete and great, great player, and really was kind of like a Larry Bird kind of player, right? In that she was a winner and was, I think, the only player in a 20-year period in pro basketball who had the 90% from the free throw line, and 50% from the field, and 40% from the three-point line.
Mm.
And I think she has the highest free throw percentage shooting all time. I used to say we need to bring her to Wizards practices, right? Her form was so unique, but it seems like she never missed.
Joined by Ted Leonsis, founder and CEO of Monumental Sports and Entertainment. So, Ted, congrats on a quarter century of owning the Washington Capitals. That anniversary just passed last weekend. So, Abe Pollin owned the team for the first 25 years of its existence. It's been in your family now for the last 25 years. Do you give yourself some time to reflect on the successes that you and the team have achieved, or are you just now looking forward, continuing that, trying to get that second Stanley Cup at this point?
Yeah, Satchel Paige, right? That's such a great quote. Don't look back; they might be gaining on you.
Mm.
And I don't think having a look back is incredibly healthy. I will say I did do an interview and I told the truth about how difficult it is making the transition from being a fan and a season ticket holder to buying a team, and then you end up with multiple teams. It's very challenging, and it becomes work. A lot of the joy of the first 25 years was missed, even when we were making the playoffs, winning championships. I think this year is another example. We had 3 teams make the playoffs. I don't feel great, right? We had the Go-Go and the Mystics and the Caps make the playoffs, and so you get a little bit jaded in that once you've won a championship, there's no thrill like that. And obviously, winning a championship is really, really hard. I'm very committed to the next 25 years for the organization. We want to build great generational teams. That's why we were rebuilding the Wizards basically around young players in the draft. It's fantastic that we got the second pick. And I know everyone says, oh, it's not the greatest draft. And I don't believe that. I believe that we will get a very good player with the second pick. And, we're not going to be a great team for a while. And so we should have some high picks for the next couple of years. But my goal is win another Stanley Cup. I have to win an NBA championship and win another WNBA championship. But to do it in context of having a great team and to build a great fan experience. But I promised everybody we'd enjoy the ride a little bit more because it's the greatest business in the world. And the players are entertainers. They're great athletes. They're great human beings. And we want to present them in a way that the fan base really relates to. And, that's a key deliverable for us to make sure that we can build teams that are as good as our fan base.
Ted, you mentioned the challenges of owning multiple teams, and Josh Harris, the owner of the Commanders, owns multiple teams. Are you interested in adding another team? You reportedly put in a bid for the Washington Nationals at one point. Would you put in another bid down the road?
I think so. I think that it makes a lot of sense for us in that um, we want to make Washington, D.C. the greatest city. We want to make our network the most important local network, and we need year-round programming. We need to have scale so that we can compete with the New Yorks and the LAs as a community. And so having winter programming, Caps and Wizards, and then summer programming, baseball team and a women's basketball team, owning the venues, I think we can compete from a business standpoint, from a revenue standpoint with those really big markets. And in baseball, you need that. You really need to have a big base of revenues to be able to afford putting great lineups out there. And you know what Baltimore has done is remarkable, but they paid a price. They were bad for more than a decade, right? So they just got first round picks for a long time, and now they're reaping that. But if you look in baseball and their system, you usually have to spend money to keep your great players. And so I think from a strategy standpoint, it makes sense. From a how will I manage it? Well, I'm not in Chicago right now working out the players, looking at what their verticals are. I'm not in the draft rooms. I mean, that's not what I do. I don't think I can add that value. I know each of you, if we had brought you in, you could have helped us with all of the drafts.
Oh yeah,
But
for
it's
sure.
not what we've learned to do, right? So it's not like I'm going to be scouting players in Costa Rica, right? And I don't think the Lerner family does that either. So I think it would make great sense for sports fans for us to have Washington, D.C., which is a small city compared to New York, compared to Los Angeles. But if we could get the scale and we could build the revenues, we'd be the only organization on the planet that owns basketball, hockey, baseball, the venues, and the network. So we should be able to, continue to feed the excellence because of the business model. And I think that's where a lot of these businesses will go. You saw in Utah, they just bought a hockey team, adding it to the basketball team. They're one of the fastest growing cities and communities on the planet. They're doing great from a business environment, and they're looking at a baseball team. So it makes sense to be able to have year-round programming, especially if you own your own network.
So, Ted, I was told by someone who knows the Lerners pretty well that they were looking at about $2.4 billion for the Nats because that's what the Mets sale was. So they wanted pretty equivalent to that. And I'm not sure what your offer was, but I was told it was somewhere in the 1.8 range to maybe 2. Is that accurate? And if it's not accurate, what kind of number do you think it would take to get the team?
I don't know. The team's not officially for sale. We're very close. We're partners with the Lerners. And so we have nothing but friendly, I'd almost say huggy, kissy kind of relationships with them. They're business people. We're business people. But we will make a credible and strong offer, and we'll continue speaking. And yeah, I'm very interested. But there's no rush. Their season just started. The Mystic season is starting tonight. We all have other pursuits and businesses, and they're not going anywhere. And obviously, as we talked last time, I'm not going anywhere either.
Are those numbers inaccurate, Ted?
1.8 is way low.
Way low for what you offer.
I read he had offered over 2.
We didn't make an offensive, offensive offer.
Okay, so your offer was right around 2, or was it higher than that?
Come on.
What? I'm just asking.
It was very credible, our offer.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what a credible offer is.
How long did it take for them to turn you down, especially when you're friendly with someone like that? Do they turn you down right away, or does that take a few weeks?
I don't think it was just the offer. I think there's a lot going on with the family. I mean, Ted Lerner was a giant in our community, and he passed away during all of this. And
Right.
so, it's these are assets that are very emotionally attached to them,
Mm-hmm.
and you understand the role it plays in the community. And so you need to be thoughtful about it. You need to be thoughtful about the purchase. You need to be thoughtful about if you decide to sell it and how you'd sell it and what you'd sell it for. And so, there's a lot that goes into the equation, but we'll do it in a very dignified and smart way. And it's possible that they say we don't want to sell it. We changed our mind. People allowed to change your mind. Witness, I'm in D.C. for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Las Vegas this weekend, and I will be selling Washington, D.C. to tech companies, real estate companies on why they should be moving to Washington, D.C.
Mm.
Now, that's a pretty radical change in strategy in a
Yeah.
couple of months, and
Right.
I'm going to be unabashed about it, right? So I think you never know how things are going to end up. That's what I told our mayor. Let's be nice to each other. Let's continue to be straightforward and communicate, because you never know what the outcomes are going to be. Yesterday, I read in the paper that the Waldorf Astoria is having a hard time in downtown DC. They're looking for a new owner. And so I sent an email saying, that couch that the mayor and I would beat on all the time, we got to buy it before it goes into foreclosure and make that some kind of trophy somewhere, either in our building or in City Hall.
So, Ted, you mentioned you're going to be in D.C. long term. What sort of visions do you have for the arena remodel, and what sort of extra business do you see that bringing in? I got a tweet from somebody. I didn't realize this is the last NHL All-Star game in the area was in 1982 at the Capitol Center. So, would you try to attract the NHL All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, obviously into D.C. with the upgrades to the arena that are coming?
The draft is going to be different, obviously, the way it is in the NBA. All the teams stay in their building, and there's the one event made for television, if you will. The NHL is going to go that way. This year's draft will be here, but then we'll go like the NBA. The All Star game is under a reconceptualization. What should we be doing in the NBA to make the All Star game more than just like a tourist attraction, a concert and an event? And same with the NHL. Um, and the league runs the All Star game, and that's always been my problem with it. That we have such passionate fans. Let's say you've owned a season ticket on the glass for the NHL, and then the All Star game comes, and then the league reaches out to you and says, "The game's coming to DC. Your ticket on the glass we're giving to our sponsors, and you can buy tickets first row on the 400 section." And then our season ticket holders call us and go, "This is how you're rewarding my loyalty." And we say, "Well, we don't own the game. We don't run the game. The league runs the game." And that happens, and that's kind of the feedback you get. And with us being such a busy building, um, slotting these in is maybe not a crucial deliverable for our fans. But we listen to the fans if they think it's something really, really important. Certainly, we can't do anything while we're reconceptualizing and then start to rebuild all of the building, and that's going to take 4 years, 4 seasons. That we're in an off season right now. We can't do anything yet, right? Because we don't have the plans, we don't have approvals. And we also have to work in conjunction with the city and this downtown redevelopment effort. And that's probably the most important thing we can do, to not look at the arena just as this separate standalone thing, because we've seen, we have a mall next door, and that went under. And now it's under new ownership that's fantastic and it's communicating with us. We have an office building on 6th Street. That's where we've moved the network. And we want to look at how we redefine DC and how we coordinate what we're doing. So, we'll be a pragmatic um, piece of work in terms of the building, where we'll start the bottom floor. We have to expand into the bottom floor of the mall where Bed Bath and Beyond was. But that is mostly to help the players and the coaches and the employees, just by giving more space. Having, right now, if you'd come to a Lakers versus Wizards game, you'd see LeBron doing some work on the weights outside an elevator. There's no room. And so we want to make sure that we have world-class facility for the athletes, for the coaches, be able to deliver. We had an incident earlier this month where a new bus came and delivered some players, and the bus was too tall, and it couldn't get back out. We had to take all the air out of the tires.
Oh my God.
And we have concerts that now are coming, and we can't accommodate all of their equipment. And so we have to modernize the arena. Madison Square Garden did it. They just done it up in Philadelphia. So we'll start with the facility itself. Then we'll move upstairs, look at the bowl. What can we do in the bowl? Make for more meeting areas, more integration between where you eat, where the bathrooms are, and the arena. Better sight line, better seats, better sound system, better technology. And then we're going to look at the building itself. Can we go up higher? Can we do something on the rooftop for fans? Can we do a practice facility there? Where would we put a new practice facility? We'd like to separate and give the WNBA and the Mystics their own practice facility and the Wizards their own practice facility. Right now, we were one of the first, if not the first, organization to let them share. We treat the women and the men athletes, as you know, the same. Same weight rooms and trainers and the like. But they might deserve their own world-class facilities, right? So there's more flexibility in scheduling and the like. And then how do we integrate with the mall next door? And then finally, how are we going to connect downtown? Is F Street the front door? Is 8th Street, which is a very important street because it goes all the way down to the mall? Does that become more of a front door, and then you turn and you come by the portrait gallery and you can have a new main entrance? I mean, that's where all of the fans were outside when we won the Stanley Cup, and we're all gathering outside. So there's a lot of work being done with the Metro and with the city planners and the police, and what can we do? What's the art of the possible? And this is a canvas, and how do we take billions of dollars? I mean, the city, we are going to spend a lot of money in and around our arena. The developer on the mall is going to make a big investment. So let's get this right. And so this year will be for the planning, and I would expect next off season for us to break ground and start to do the work. But that's going to be complicated too, because if we break ground, what are we going to do when Caitlin comes to play in DC next offseason? And if we'll probably be able to do it.
You're going to beat her
because the work will be downstairs. But that's all the planning we're doing.
Hey, Ted, we got to run in just about a minute, but I know you wanted to touch on the DC College Access Program, the college signing day you just had at Cap One Arena, where there's a new 2050 moonshot goal. Why don't you tell the listeners about that quickly?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about college signing day with taking my talents to Ohio State, and we brought 2,500 students from DC say, I'm going to Delaware State. I'm going to study art history, right? And we wanted to treat the students at DC like stars. Our moonshot is we want everyone to be able to go to college and not have any financial concerns. It's mostly aimed at first generation college. I'm the only kid. I was the first kid in my family to go to college, so I have great like, connectivity with what families go through on the expense of college. And college, as you know, even state schools are now $60,000 a year. And so we will be the main scholarship program and services program for the DC Public School program. It's called DC CAP. And we also work with the federal government with DC TAG, which is a scholarship fund that's been created to support just DC students. And it's very synergistic with the mayor and the city council and what their big goals are. They have three big goals. One goal is reinvention of downtown DC, monumental, and our teams and employees will play a big role there. And the second is educating and making our young people have hope for a better day. And they do that through going to colleges, learning skills, getting degrees, and then coming back into the city and being positive contributors. And so it shows, I think, in many ways that this isn't just about sports. This is just about basketball or hockey. This is about central role that we can play as a convener and play as an economic driver for our community, and also that we can do the right things in the right way, using our gifts, if you will, to give back to the community.
Ted, thanks as always. Enjoy Mystics
Hey,
opening
guys.
night. Yep, we'll have you on again soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks.